Feel about first I want to go to being picked fifth. Is that a motivator for you guys?
Yeah, a little bit, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely feel like we should be higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a little bit of motivation, but, at the end of the day, it's the locker room, the coaching staff, not really about, where we're picked to finish as much. So, just staying as a team, not really worrying about the outside noise too much.
Yeah. How about you being picked preseason second team? If I'm not mistaken, you were left off first, second, and third team last year. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Did you notice that you were left off?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we had 3 guys on there,
Yeah.
and they're very deserving of it. So, it's hard to get 4 guys on a team.
That's
So, I didn't honestly really expect it. So,
Yeah. Did you ever see the quote from the Northern Kentucky coach about you?
yeah, he's told me a couple times.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, he
I
has.
had breaking news.
No, yeah,
He said he voted for you.
yeah, he did. I mean, it's
Like,
nice.
when you say he's told you that, like how?
We saw him at media day, and then when we played him in the postseason, he told me a couple times throughout the
Okay.
game. So,
Okay. You just needed a few more in.
yeah.
But you're
yeah.
right. It'd be tough with 4 guys unless you blew away the league.
Yeah, right. Unless if we finished first, then I probably would have been a little upset about it.
Yeah.
But we didn't get first, so I didn't really
Yeah.
expect it.
Where are you better, Alex, this year than you were a year ago? All the work you put in.
Yeah, I think just being more of a vocal leader for the team is the biggest thing. Fine tuning some things on offense,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, just trying to be a better leader. Becoming more mature for the team. I've worked a lot with Coach Sargent, so
Okay.
just trying to be a better leader is the biggest thing.
I talked last year with you. I remember talking about you kind of having to speak up because maybe the other guys who would do it are kind of on the quiet side.
Yeah,
So you had a little practice with it last year.
yeah, and I don't think I was the greatest at it last year.
You don't?
It was a little bit of a tough spot. Yeah, I mean, I thought I grew a lot, but I think this year there's a lot more pressure on me to be a better leader.
Yeah.
And last year, like you said, some of the guys were a little more quiet.
Yeah.
So it was a different team, different coach.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, Coach Sargent's been on me a lot about it,
Okay.
and it's something he really wants to see.
Yeah. How have you guys looked in preseason? I think you had your scrimmage, right? Bowling Green?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
scrimmaged Bowling Green.
Yeah. I know we can't talk stats or score, but
Yeah, are we allowed to disclose any of that?
are we allowed to say how the team played?
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, we played well. Our defense was good, which was a good sign
Yeah,
for us.
yeah.
Definitely improving physicality wise, especially as last year's team. But I mean, we got a whole different team now, so it's just been something that we've been working on like all summer in preseason, being more physical, being better at rebounding.
Yeah.
And those things stuck out during that scrimmage, and it was a good sign for us for
Good.
sure.
Do you feel like you got to be more of a scorer this year than a 12 points per game kind of guy?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we have a lot of talent on this team. I mean, I wouldn't say we have as much as last year because that team was just like crazy
Yeah,
talented.
yeah.
You don't see that team very often.
Yeah.
2,000-point scorers. You hardly ever see that.
That's right.
Especially on the same team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's a little more pressure to score.
Mhm.
But, if we improve defensively, allow us to play in transition more, we can get scoring from anybody.
Yeah.
So, it's not something I'm like constantly thinking of, but, it's something I'm aware of.
Yeah. Without Trey and Tanner, I would think if I were you, I'd kind of think, well, I got to defer to them a little bit. Without them, do you feel a little more freedom on offense?
Yeah, a little bit. And I think Coach Sargent's,
Mm-hmm.
he's given me all the trust in the world along with the rest of the staff. So, they've given me the freedom and the opportunity. So it's really just, letting it fly and playing as carefree kind of sort of as I can.
Yeah. What are the expectations then for this season? I was think 18-14 and 18-15 the last 2 years. That doesn't cut it.
No. I think the biggest thing is the regular season
Okay.
title. That's what Coach Sargent is always on. Obviously, the postseason as well, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely getting back to winning regular season titles. And then, honestly, the other thing is being way better at the Nutter Center, being better at home, We want to go undefeated
Yeah,
at
I didn't
home.
think about
It's
that.
been something the last couple of years we just haven't been as good at home for whatever reason that is. But that's something we really want to be better at this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I forgot what your record was. I can look it up. But,
I think it was 97, something like that.
Yeah. Just in general, optimism level for this season. How do you feel?
Yeah, very optimistic. A lot of great energy in the building here. Coming in to practice every day has been a joy. So
Good.
It's a great locker room, great coaching staff.
Yeah.
So we have everything we need here and just ready to get going.
Almost done with you.
Yeah.
How is Coach Nagy or Coach Sargent different than Coach Nagy, would you say? Both were great.
Yeah, they're both good at different things. I think Coach Sargent on like a more personal level with the players. I'm in his office a lot more, and he's constantly telling the guys, like, if you have anything, come to me. Don't run away from it. Don't let it linger. Any problems or anything positive.
Yeah.
So I would say that, and then he's a lot more collaborative. Is his big thing. He likes to collaborate, and they're obviously both great coaches.
Yeah.
And Coach Nagy was an amazing coach, and I really enjoyed playing for him for 4 years. Obviously, he gave me the opportunity to come here. So, but yeah, they're just two pretty different coaches, I'd say.
My experience with Coach Nagy is he's more quiet. He's very real and would talk to you but I'm not sure he would, I don't know, seek you out to
it's
make small
a
talk.
little bit different of an approach.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Last thing. This is something I don't know why I didn't notice it before. You guys played at a very fast tempo.
Yeah.
And I was just looking up like the last 8 years with Nagy. In the last 5, 4 of them are really high tempo. Do you like that kind of fast-paced stuff?
Yeah. Coach Nagy definitely preached playing fast, getting it out in transition. I think Coach Sargent's pretty similar with that. Obviously that starts with getting stops, getting rebounds, and then you can push it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun running up and down and, kind of run and gun, getting shots up pretty quick. Yeah. For sure.
Fans, I think, like it too.
Oh, I'm sure they do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Alex. When did you find out that you were preseason player of the year?
Just not too long ago. Yeah, it's pretty recently. Yep.
Yeah, like today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reaction?
It's cool. There's a couple of things you can say about it. One, it's nice to have some, respect and recognition. But two, it's a preseason award. We haven't done anything yet, haven't played any games. I haven't recorded a minute yet. Yeah. So you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. The respect is there, but again, we have to play the games. I still have a whole season ahead of me before I can truly earn anything.
Yeah. Do you think like more of a target on your back? Does that happen?
Not necessarily, but I see what you're going with there. But no, I'm going to still play the same way as if I was, not on any sort of preseason team. It wouldn't affect the way I go out there and treat every game.
Being picked 5th, I kind of went, ooh, that could be a motivator for these guys.
Right, and it's kind of similar to, like I just said, the player of the year thing or whatever. It's just it's a preseason thing. It's why we play the games.
Yeah.
And things like last year happened when Green Bay, I think they were picked last, and what happens to them? They come out and finish 3rd with some injury. So anything can happen in terms of from now until in March. So it doesn't really matter as far as what these preseason things say. But again, it gives us like a measuring stick of where people think we might be, which is a little useful for us to base things off of.
Just the last 2 years, 18-14, 18-15, quarterfinal loss in the tournament. That doesn't fly around here, I wouldn't think.
That's definitely not what we're aiming for. Obviously, we're aiming for NCAA postseason tournament. That's the main goal here. So we're going to try and get back to that this year for sure.
How are the guys, new guys? How they look? How are they like going against in practice?
Yeah, they've been good. They're fitting in well, especially off the floor. Good dudes. We got 3 freshmen, I think, and then several more transfers. So it's probably the biggest class we've had in a while as far as newcomers. But they're fitting in well, and I like playing with all of them. I could go down the line, but they're all good dudes.
Who do you go against mostly in practice?
I spend a lot of time against Dre Carter, because we're both 4s. Yeah. But then again, I spend some time playing against the 5s when we have smaller lineups. So I get to go against Mike and Aiden and some of those bigger guys. But
they're playing 5. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So I get to go against a good mix of a lot of different people. And sometimes I go out and guard a 3. So sometimes I'm guarding some wings and stuff. So I get to guard a lot of different people.
Wow. Where do you feel like you're better this year, Brandon, than you were a year ago?
I think, again, I talk about defense all day. That's one of the things we struggled with last year. So that's been a serious talking point this year. We're doing a much better job of accomplishing what we want to when it comes to off-ball defense and, on-ball defense, and just being way more intelligent. That's probably the biggest step we need to take this year is intelligence.
I felt like last year sometimes you passed up mid-range type of jumpers. I don't know if that's right or not, but is that something you're working on, something you feel like you got down this year?
A little bit. I'm not putting too much of a focus on that, more so sticking around the rim and threes. My mid-range game, I improved a little bit, but it's not necessarily my bread and butter. So I'm probably going to not shy away from it, but I'm probably going to still stick towards my, at the rim and threes. Those are my two main ways of scoring.
At the rim, and then you'll go out to three, and you feeling even more confident with that?
Yeah, it's something I work on, all the time. Go to the gym, get shots up, work out with the coaches, get shots up, set shots off the move. Again, I'm always working on my shot because you never can hurt to shoot. You know what I mean? Never can hurt.
Yeah. You realize what a problem that is for other teams, that you can go out and shoot threes. Like, oh gosh, what do we do with that?
Right, being a bigger guy that can shoot is something I've always tried to be. And I know for mismatch purposes, it just helps me offensively, and then it gets a lot of other people open.
Yeah,
because they got to rotate to me and stuff, and so that gets someone else just a good shot too. So I try, and as much as it helps me, I feel like it helps us and a lot of the guys around me too.
Last thing, a lot of hype about you. Our guy Tom Archdeacon did like a 400-column story on you and all this stuff. Do you feel any extra pressure personally, like you've got to really produce and come through for the team?
Not necessarily. And that comes from a lot of the guys around me. I know are behind me. It's not just me. I'm not pulling these guys with me. We're all going the same direction. Yeah. So it's not like I'm just trying to pull these guys behind me. We're all going the same direction, have the same goals, and I can speak for myself, and I hope the rest of the guys, team first. So that's our goal, is wins and going to the tournament. And then what comes with that is usually the individual accolades. So if those come at the end of the year, then so be it. If they don't, then we probably didn't do a very good job as a team. Yeah.
I said last thing, I had one more. I asked Alex, how is Coach Sargent different than Coach Nagy? What have you noticed so far with him?
That's a tough question. They have a lot of similarities. Coach Sargent learned from Coach Nagy all those years, but it has been different. Seemingly a little more energy this year, maybe in years past. And that could be due to some of the guys, could be due to the staff. I can't really attribute that to one thing in particular, but I feel like I have noticed as a team we have a lot more energy this year.
Yeah.
And we're just haven't been very satisfied with what's going on in the last couple of years as far as wins and losses. So I think we're all extra motivated to try and turn that around.
Well, try not to keep it too long here.
Okay.
Let's see if we get rolling here. Well, I would think Clint, fifth is kind of a motivator. We don't care about preseason polls, I get it, but you could use it.
Yeah, I think you said it. The guys know it, they see it, they take it in, and this isn't coach speak, but really trying to get to a point for our team, and I think it's just important for young people in general, especially athletes, just to kind of not allow people to speak over you negatively or positively.
Yeah.
So, it's preseason. I think now more than ever, trying to predict is very hard to do. And our goals and what this group wants, we understand. And really just trying to keep the blinders on and working every day and having habits. And this conversation started in the spring and the summer. So trying to let that to be the main thing and letting that lead it.
You hadn't been picked that low, thanks to Nick's research. Since your second year here.
Okay.
You're fifth.
Yeah.
Everything else has been.
Yeah, and I've spoken to the team. I don't know if this would be public or not. A lot about the makeup of this team to that our second year. I think Loudon, he was a redshirt freshman. Really on paper production. It was. There wasn't a ton of it. This team has more of it, but the personalities of that team are second year. Even some of the metrics, like our Ken Palm number, 199, that's low. That year it was 201.
Okay.
But I just think, again, the personalities, the care level,
Yeah.
a lot of the things that you can't predict on paper.
Yes.
I love about this group,
Yes.
and it leads to a lot of healthy days. Not that we're having perfect days by any means, but you sure recover a lot quicker from. And I think you put that together for a 4 or 5 month year or 4 to 5 month season, then you can produce and win.
Both Brandon and Alex talked about the energy they feel around the team and practice and so forth. Have you seen it and felt it?
Yeah, just a motivated group of kids,
Mm-hmm.
all here for, I believe, to be very healthy reasons that, again, we're with each other a ton. And I would credit the energy to them just really enjoying each other, them being very motivated to win like we've won here, and not having done that the last couple of years, and a large majority of us being a part of that.
Yeah.
That's enough to walk into each day with a healthy level of motivation, and then also trying to enjoy the journey of it, because it goes quick. It's very difficult. Trying to enjoy the hard work of it.
I didn't know you were one of 5 new coaches in the league.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of turnover.
1 of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the others, but
Yeah, it's been a mixed bag, but
Okay.
I think, I think the league's improving in a lot of ways, and I like to speak of the coaches that are still here, a lot of experience.
can't be back.
Campy's back, Coach Horn, Coach Lundy, Coach Kaufman, Coach Toole.
Coach Warner, I think.
Yeah, I mean, great programs that I've, again, just had the privilege of watching in my 8 years here.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys. So, growing up watching.
Brandon Knoll being preseason player of the year, how did you feel about that?
I think 2 ways. One, Brandon knows, and he knows what we think of him, and just how high expectations we have. And I think it is a feather in his cap just to be recognized.
Yeah.
But then also the flip side of it, just having those expectations put on you, I think our encouragement to not only Brandon, all over the spectrum of our locker room, if you're somebody like Brandon, who's getting spoken over like, player of the year, you should be, just not to run that race selfishly, where you get inward.
Yeah.
You start to think it's a race of production, encouraging him to allow us into it.
Yeah.
Same as we would talk to, the guy who's not playing and the guy that's not in the game being spoken over in these ways.
Yeah.
Don't run that race inwardly. Don't get selfish, because both are completely understandable. I play to understand how when people speak, especially player of the year, you start thinking you have to be a certain level of production and stat. And we know Brandon's heart. He wants to win. He loves his teammates. So not being very intentional about, once I heard it, having a conversation with him, talking about it in front of the team, just so he knows it's, we understand kind of the burden that can be, even though it's preseason, just not to take that inwardly, but man, let it just be some wind at your sails to keep working hard, and we know he will.
Yeah. Him being able to shoot a 3 is a weapon.
Yes.
Like, teams got to go, I don't know what we do.
Yeah, I mean, he's an extremely hard worker. He puts in a ton of time and extremely versatile. And again, for us, it's just been the expectations that he would lead with his physicality.
Yeah.
And let the production just kind of flow from that. When he's flying around on the glass and cutting and just playing instinctively, the production just shows up.
Yeah. I don't mean this to be a negative about him. One thing I thought watching last year was he wasn't real confident with a mid-range jumper.
Yep.
Am I off there, or is that something he needed to work on? Or
no, I think it's, like Trey Calvin has a great mid-range, use it.
Oh.
Brandon doesn't, in my opinion, really need one.
Yeah.
He can make them. But again, like you just mentioned, his three-point percentage, I think he was over 40% last year, and then playing at the rim, very efficient, gets to the free throw line. Those 2 areas of the floor analytically are where you want to be your best, and that's where Brandon is.
Yeah. Alex.
Yes.
I'm going to feature on him anyway.
Good.
What do you want to say about him?
Oh, I have a ton to say. Yeah. just in terms of a young person working on himself this offseason, I've seen leaps and bounds. Just his growth as a young man. Very proud of that, first and foremost. And I think it's that overflow has been very evident on the floor. His leadership, his ability. And he's been coached pretty hard here since he's been here. I've coached him hard. He's very similar to me in a lot of ways, personality. So we've butted heads as an assistant and grown with him.
Okay.
He's grown with me.
Okay.
And now to be with him when I'm obviously a leader, but Alex is a leader.
Yeah.
And at the highest stage, I've just been very impressed with his vulnerability and maturity. And then as a player, I think Alex has the it factor. I think he has that incredible gift of cares deeply but doesn't care too much. Has a free-flowing personality about on the floor, like his smiling, his moxie, that I don't think most probably give him credit for, how dynamic he can be offensively, and he's really embraced just our challenge again to him to be more physical on the ball, to be a better defender, because he wants it. He was that for us last year in a lot of ways, maybe unfairly, but he is more than capable of being an absolute great on-ball defender and one of the more dynamic guards, in my opinion, in our league.
When you say similar personalities, like what do you mean?
Yeah, just he's a great locker room guy. He enjoys the banter. He enjoys the fun conversations. All the time again we spend together, the jokes, and he's just an enjoyable kid to be around. Great smile and just a ton of fun to be around.
Not that I'm being too nosy here,
Yeah.
but when you say you butt heads, what would it be over?
Just my expectation for him and his willingness to be mature on the floor.
Okay.
Emotionally, mentally, I've always had high expectations. Again, whether it's fair or unfair, because I maybe saw a lot of myself in him.
Same position.
Same position. He's way more. He's a way better player.
15 years of basketball helps.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of things. I love it. He's got a big old heart for his family and for his teammates, and I've had a first row seat to a lot of it.
Yeah. All right. Coach Nagy used to make fun of me because I would come with some stat that he hadn't even thought of.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
He would always talk about how fast you guys played. And for some reason, it went, whew. Well, I looked it up. And in the last 5 years, except for 1 year, 22nd in the country in possessions, 17th.
Yep.
Is that something you like and hope to continue?
Yeah, I like playing aggressively. I like our guys thinking score. I think of all the things offensively you're trying to implement.
Yeah.
Ideally, you can have 5 guys that have great rhythm together, that they're unselfish, but when you have it, you're dangerous to score. And having that type of mindset, I think when you have skilled players, you tend to play quicker.
Yeah.
And I would anticipate us having that same piece to our game.
What are the advantages of playing that way? Getting numbers in transition, that kind of thing?
Well, it's just if you're playing against a set defense every time, your efficiency numbers will go down.
Yeah.
So again, you're looking to play off advantages, and there's not a better advantage when you're playing in the full court and the defense isn't set.
Is there any drawbacks or pitfalls to it?
I think the pitfall, which we've tried to work on, is just when you have to change speeds, whether that's the last 8 minutes of a game.
Okay.
You need to be more deliberate. You need to maybe be a little bit more set heavy because, free flowing motion, it becomes a half court game. You have to be able to change gears.
Like you got to lead with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, and if you're getting beat up a little bit defensively, a quick shot is not a great shot. But if you're flowing and aggressive and things are going well, maybe that quick shot is a really good shot. Yeah. So there's just an intellect and IQ piece to it. We don't just want to play fast to play fast. We want to play smart. And there's certain stages of the game where it's to your advantage.
Yeah. And
there's other stages of the game where you can just slow down, be more methodical, and grind them up.
Did you guys come here hoping to do that? Because with the year with Loudon, think it was 18, 19, and Parker Ertzhazen.
Yeah.
You guys were like 269th.
Yeah.
Like you were definitely more of a half court team.
Yeah, it kind of fits your personnel. With Loudon when he was young, Parker, we were big, not we weren't great offensively, and we kind of slowed it down. A lot of it just is based on your personnel.
Okay.
Yep.
Switching gears.
Yep.
I won't have to bug you this way. Exhibition game.
Yes.
What do you hope to see? What do you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, I just think stepping in front of fans, typically we haven't done it. I thought it'd be a good idea before we go to Rupp and play in front of 22,000 just to get a little taste of an in-game environment with our fans.
Yeah.
And just kind of get that in-game rhythm. That's the biggest point we'd like.
Yeah. Playing a lot of guys and just get their feet wet.
Most likely. Yeah.
Okay.
Most likely. Yeah. Pretty vanilla in terms of what we'll be doing. Again, it's just the more in-game.
Yeah, you don't want to show too much.
Yeah. Not even that. Just letting our guys play. And again, we run enough motion. We play quick enough to just let's see how some of that shakes up, and then making sure when the bright lights are on, even if it's an exhibition game, that just our togetherness, connectivity, and defensively, that there's a healthy priority list for our team. It's not just, okay, bright lights are on, we get offensive minded. I want to see that.
As much as I've watched you guys, I couldn't tell you one play that you run.
Mm-hmm.
It really is motion and letting guys just make plays.
Yeah, I
love it.
Yeah, I think good players want that. But again, there's just a healthy balance of when they need you to kind of take the reins of it. But I think motion, playing instinctively when you have good offensive players, and being not pattern based is hard to guard in a fun style of play.
I guarded. I covered a coach at Dayton. I won't mention his name. It was all pattern plays, finger up.
Yep.
I just thought, you got great athletes. I don't know.
There's a balance to it. Yeah, some can do it and do it really well and win, and some like to let them play. I'm hoping we just find a healthy balance.
Before I let you go, hang on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
And I hope I don't brutalize you. You come to dread these things. But I did write a couple things down I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Got that. One more thing about fast pace. I would think it's a good recruiting tool. Hey, we like to get up and down.
Yeah, I think players maybe now more than ever like the freedom. But again, we work really hard to educate them on what freedom means. It's not just a blind, we're just going to chuck and duck, and there has to be a discipline to it. And that takes a lot of trial and error. That's where I'm thankful that we have a lot of experience, because they've caught a lot of it through the years, what it looks like, what it doesn't look like.
Yeah. Last thing. You have any conversations with Coach Nagy?
Yeah, I called him. We scrimmaged Saturday, private, closed-door scrimmage. I just probably opened up a whole new off-camera questions. I'm not going to give any public.
I know.
But I called him, and he called, and we check in frequently. And again, I've spent 15 years with him. Yeah. And just leaning on him and vice versa. And no doubt it's different, not being in here with him every day. But we stay in touch.
Is he happy?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody would want him to be.
He's happy. He's motivated. I mean, he's just he's just in the thick of it now of the season. Yeah. And
that's a tough conference.
It is a tough conference, but he's a heck of a coach, and I think
he's motivated.
Very motivated.
I know you can't talk about score, and you can't even release any stats. Yep. But I would think a coach could kind of say, "How'd you feel about how your team looked?"
I love how we competed.
Okay.
I loved our physicality and our connectivity. Everything that we're trying to be about daily, I thought showed up. Now there's some areas where we need to be a lot better. But overall, I was very pleased.
Good.